fresh start. I think if you asked 100 people to define a fresh start, say what that is, you get 100 different answers, and at least one variation of there is no such thing. My fresh start has to do with a new job. So I have had a lot of jobs. I'm one of 9. I had jobs in the house before I got to work for pay outside of the house. I started babysitting at 12. At 14, I started the Guernsey Cow, local ice cream place, worked through high school and college, counting on those tips. After I graduated from Penn State, I had some more restaurant experience, and then I worked in a small actuary office. So I was either a Gal Friday or an office manager, depending on who was asking and how the day was going. I eventually had children and had my own home daycare, the play care place. I also had a weekend food concession stand, Ellen's Eats. While I was in the daycare world, I was teaching daycare seminars. I was also professionally storytelling. And by professional, I mean people would pay me to come to Bible schools or to, other daycares or birthday parties, and I loved it. So it was wonderful. I left there to do some guest teaching in the York City School District. And at some point, I happened upon an ad in the paper, and, change is a challenge. And the ad, I might have ignored, except for it looked like somebody had taken that job history that I just gave you and put it all into requirements or preferences for the job. So it was a library called Trader Benford Library in Red Line. And my first thought was, I am way too loud and rambunctious to work in a library. But I read over the job descriptions again, and I thought, well, I took a drive. I found the library. I asked some questions. I applied. I interviewed. I met with Deb Sullivan and had an observation, and then the job was mine. So, after 10 years in home daycare, babysitting, and a year and a half babysitting in the classroom, I was trying to work up my confidence that somebody would want me in public, in the workforce. And I also had a commute ahead of me, which I never had before. So I get in the car, I show up, I'm a few minutes early, the door's locked, so I bang on the door, nobody answers, bang on the door, nobody answers. I'm looking in, it's a big glass door. Finally, somebody rushes over, unlocks the door, doesn't say a word to me, and rushes away. I'm like, not sure what to expect, but that wasn't it. I lock the door behind me, I walk around behind the circulation desk, I walk to the office area, to the desk that Deb had told me would be mine. Books piled up on the chair, and on top of the stack of books is a little radio, antennas up, cords strewn across and plugged in, and blaring from the radio. My first thought is 1938, Orson Welles, Mars Invasion? Can't be that. My next thought is Alan Funt, smile, you're on candid camera, because everybody's pretty captivated by what's going on. That's not what happened. What did happen is Holly ran to the front door, came back with the tiniest little black and white TV I'd ever seen. Radio was pulled, TV was tuned in just in time to see the second plane hit the second tower. So now it's really quiet and really awkward, and everybody's kind of looking around in disbelief. But the time had come for me to go over and do my debut story time. So I walked across the library, I got set up. I had a small number of families, smaller than typical because people were home watching this horror. I did notice that there was a man and a woman with a child there, and I thought that was pretty unique. I got to chatting with them afterwards, and I said to the dad, do you get to come every day, or did you take off, or, was this just fortunate timing? He said, well, and I said, yeah. He said, well, they sent me home at work because, and I said, where do you work in York County that could be, potential? I had not yet heard about the Pentagon. I had not yet heard about Flight 93. Turns out he worked at BAE, which is a tank plant. And that was another shocker to me because from where I live, I can hear the tanks when they do their test drives. Flashed me quickly back to when my husband lived within a couple miles of 3 Mile Island. So I'm thinking, whoa, really vulnerable. So it's my first day, happens to be my dad's birthday. And I'm filled with a sense of luxury for life, luxury that I have what over 3,000 people were robbed of that day, that my family in its smallness was left intact as their families were not. And so for me, that fresh start was a new perspective. As Mark Twain would say, give every day the chance to become the most beautiful day of your life. So it helped me bolster up my optimism. It helped me realize that life has ups and life has downs, but you got to always approach it putting your best foot forward. That was my fresh start. Thank you.